Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an episode of Career Mode Goodness. And wow, boy, do we have some good stuff in today's episode. We got some gameplay, we got some transfers, we got a whole bunch of randy stuff. And anyways, yeah, first game we got on this episode is against Southampton, a team that is well, they managed to stay up in the Premier League. I really rate two of their players, Mayuka and also Gaston Ramirez, two very good players for Southampton. Can't even speak today, for Southampton, and I'm actually very surprised, especially Gaston Ramirez, that he's actually stayed at Southampton. I'm surprised a big club like PSG and Barca, Bayern Munich seem to be shelling out a lot of money in my career at the moment, so I'm surprised one of them haven't tried to snap him up, because he's an absolutely quality player. But a fantastic ball through to El Shaarawy, but unfortunately he couldn't finish. He couldn't do anything special with that one, but it does lead to a corner and a magnificent header from Nastasic as he buries that into the bottom right. I was actually really impressed with that header. The way he kind of just jumps up in front of the defender and heads it down into the bottom right corner. There couldn't be that much better placement than a header like that. But the team at the moment is just doing so well. I honestly feel such a huge difference when you're using a team with full fitness. It really feels so much different. And it just goes to show, if you have a deep squad, or a squad with a lot of depth, I should say, I always tend to do a lot better, and you guys will notice that maybe for yourselves. But right towards the end of the game, in the 89th minute, Paul Pogba manages to make it 3-1, and it turns out that was absolutely crucial for us, because right in the dying embers of the game, Southampton managed to go and get a goal back. So I am so happy that Pogba managed to get that extra goal there, because otherwise that would have mean we would have dropped 2 points there and it would have just been a draw. But they had one last bit of attacking, but we cut it out pretty nicely, and that meant the end of the game, and a 3-2 win, a good win. Maybe not as convincing as I would have hoped, but nevertheless a solid win, and 3 points on the table, which is always important. Some of the other games that we have coming up, we got Barcelona in one of the cups. That's going to be really interesting. I made a bid for Jack Wilshere. It was something like 5 million plus plus Fellaini, and unfortunately they came back and told me no, I need to up my game, and I just don't have that sort of money to spend. PSG made an offer for Insigne, and they offered 19 million for a backup striker that I had. I was like, are these people serious? And then I counter offered 24 million and they matched it, and I thought, oh my god, like, I can't believe that. An 84 rated player, and don't get me wrong, Insigne is a magnificent player, and he did an amazing job last season filling in for Muriel and El Shaarawy when they couldn't play, or fitness issues, and but it ended up that I was going to get 24 million for Insigne, and I don't know about you guys, but for a backup player, that is just too much to give up on. So I ended up selling him on to PSG, which is just a really, it was sort of a last minute thing. I never planned to sell him. In fact, I planned to keep him on because he was a good player, but I just can't say no to a 24 million offer. But one of the biggest strikers, obviously now that Insigne is going to have to replace him, I can't simply run with the two strikers, Muriel and El Shaarawy. I suppose you could say Neymar would fit in there, but with my current formation, a 4-3-2-1, Neymar was always going to play on the wing. So it was a matter of going out and finding a replacement. One of the biggest, names that people have wanted me to pull in as sort of that backup striker is, in fact, Rodrigo, who now plays for Inter. Supposedly, he just becomes an animal. And in that video where someone showed me their career mode, if you guys want to check that video out, go to the previous episode, and the link's in the description. So, I mean, when he just said he was a really, really good player. So, I was definitely really sort of drawn to him, and I wanted to get him, but he was worth 18 million, and although we did get 24 for Insigne, remember, we still want to buy a new center defensive mid, so we have to remember we have to keep money for him. But we're also looking to kind of, I kind of want to say get rid of Fellaini, but because he's just not fitting into the team whatsoever. Another sort of issue that I'm finding with the team is that Ter Stegen isn't doing that well for me at the moment. He is conceding a lot of goals. He's made quite a few errors, and you guys will see that in the coming games, but they actually went ahead, and I believe they won 2-1, was it? I don't know why I didn't put in the second goal there, my bad, but they scored 2 goals against me anyways, and they beat me 2-1, but it wasn't enough for them to go through, because I'd beaten them with a 2-goal difference in the other leg. So I actually go ahead and go through on with an aggregate of 3-2. But I was really interested in like some Mario Balotelli. In fact, I just went around and kind of offered a bunch of the strikers that I'd really like to have on my squad. Just went and offered them around because obviously you might as well go and do these things. You might as well just test the water, see what can be done and what can't be done. So I went ahead and chucked a bunch of bids at different players, and one of them was Marco Reus, 85 rated, still relatively young, 26, so he's kind of in the middle there. But, you know, strikers tend to peak around the age of 28 and 29 in real life as well, so still a few years definitely left in him. And an offer came in for Goetze, and I decided I wanted to counteroffer for at least 60 million because he is really important in my plans at the moment. Marco Reus, I decided to make an offer for him for 13.5 million, and no other players because they were unacceptable, a lot of the offers, mainly because they just didn't want the player that I involved in the deal. So I decided to take out the player and just see what would happen. You know, I don't have a lot of money to spend on this particular role because he's kind of a backup striker, but I still want him to be really good. You know, it's always really nice to have someone that you can bring on and still feel really confident with. Bayern there told me they weren't willing to pay that. They'd be willing to pay 43 million, and still I said no because Goetze is a really important player in my team, so he was gonna have to leave with a big price tag on him. And the team is actually shaping up pretty nicely. Reus I counter offered again for 15.5 million to see if that would come through, but we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if I'm actually sold on this formation yet. There could be some formation changes to come in the future. I'm tempted to look at maybe a 4-2-2-2 formation, but we'll have to wait and see. It's just that I'm not really finding this formation to suit my particular playstyle, although it suits the team nicely because you got the Neymar, you can fit Neymar, you can fit a striker in there, and you can just do a whole bunch of awesome stuff. But unfortunately it wasn't really my sort of thing, and I kind of fast forwarded this bit up here. My apologies for that. It's just that one of the weird things is that Pogba unfortunately got injured, and he's actually out for 3 months. God damn it, Pogba. Pogba gets injured so easily. Let me know if any of you guys use Pogba or have Pogba in your team. Do you find that he gets injured regularly, and do you find that he gets injured for long periods? Because this is, I think, the 3rd time he's been injured for over a month, and that is just getting absolutely ridiculous. And it's kind of making me think, you know, do I really want to have him in a team if I'm trying to rely on him, give him a lot of game time so that he really develops as a good player? But what's the point in giving him a lot of game time if every other month he gets injured for the next 2 months or something? So it didn't matter though. My game against Barcelona, they wrecked me on possession. They absolutely wrecked me on possession. I think they had 61 possession at the end of it. But, you know, they didn't have a lot of shots on goal or anything like that. But it took them a long time till they could, get the win. But they do win the first piece of silverware, the Copa Europe as they call it on the game. And to be honest with you, I was disappointed with that. But, you know, it's Barcelona. What can you do? They're just such a quality side. Anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, then leaving a like is much appreciated. I hope you guys all have a cracking day, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.